with this particular opportunity, what stood out about this one?
Yeah, so this particular opportunity that we acquired on Tracey's behalf, so this was about a 515 square meter block in the Hunter region, around the Hunter Valley. I don't want to give out the exact name because we're still active in that market. It stood out because it was just the location and the proximity to amenities, schools, shopping centres, and transport. It ticked all of the boxes that we typically look for our investors, and it's a lifestyle location too. So there was a lot of internal migration happening there. And when I say that, a lot of people moving from the inner cities to this particular location to set up shop, retire, and it's a very popular holiday spot too. So if anyone knows the Hunter Valley, it's really popular for its wineries and vineyards and stuff. So that's why we picked that location, and also for options too. That location or that property can easily be converted into a nice branded Airbnb with a bit of thought and effort behind it. The numbers do stack up in terms of generating great income in that kind of style. So that's what we did for Tracey. It's currently rented now for about $410 per week. We were anticipating $380. So she's currently at around $480,000 purchase. Is around the 4.5% rental yield.
Yeah.
At $410 per week. So
what's the vacancy rate there?
Vacancy rate right now is about 0.1. So it's a really tight rental market. So
from memory, this property could do with a bit of an uplift as well, eh? So there's
Correct.
potential to add value, get some capital growth as well as a higher rental price, right?
Yeah, so there's so much uplift that can happen to that property, and even being able to rent that property above market rate.
In the state it's in. And that's the funniest thing about it. Like, the tenants don't really care if it's brand new fixtures and fittings. If it has the bedrooms you need and they need a property to live in, they're going to live in it.
Correct.
So I think it was, and a lot of times a client, it was good that Tracey was pretty easygoing. I'm sure I had something to do with that, because we talk about this stuff all the time. And I'm like, look, it's not about how sexy the house is.
It's not.
Like, is it got a good block of land? Is it in a good area? Is it rentable? Right? You can add value to it later. It's actually better that you're getting it in the state it's in now, potentially. So I think having a buyer's agent explain that to someone is very valuable for them as well. So
yeah, 100%, because people generally don't want to do the work themselves. So for example,
I didn't.
Yeah, well, how could you have the time?
Didn't.
Yeah.
How could you have the time,
I didn't.
man?
I was focused on making money. Like, that's where you, like, I had like this 3-month plan, and none of that involved doing the work you two were doing.
Yeah.
She doubled her income, by the way. So before we...
Look at that. So how good's that, right?
Before we talk...
And that's a better use of her time, because she's focused on making more money.
We had a goal. I was like...
She's outsourced the property researching process. She's gotten a result because, one, she's purchased under market value. Two, she's achieved higher rents than initially anticipated. Three, she's bought a property that has got potential to be uplifted cosmetically, right?
Yeah.
So she was making money going in and coming out of that deal. You know what I mean? So that's the
very smart.
golden triangle nearly.
It was great. So. And then I think there was a month or two after, she was like to me, oh, looking to, I think I could renovate and sell it and then buy something different. I'm just like, look, just relax, all right?
Just hold on.
Well, I knew I knew holding on to it was an option, but I think I was just on this like...
Excited?
I was excited. So I was like, what else can we do? And then I think I spoke to Jack the other day. I was like, oh... So how about number 2?
Yeah, I told her
100%, and then it's going to be that same step of reverse engineering that process. Where is she at now, and how does she get number 2?
I think within 6 months that could happen. But as a friend, I said, look, I know you've got a lot of other plans. Like there's potentially businesses that you want to start. you know, this is on a principal and interest loan on a high LVR.
Yeah.
You kind of need to build up a bit of a cash buffer. You need to pay off this property a bit more. Maybe optimize that property a bit more before you take on another bigger a mortgage, especially at this time of the market, like a lot of uncertainty as well. So I think just to take a step back, do some touch-ups to the property, figure out what you want to do in your career, and then when you're in a more stable position,
100%.
I mean, it's great that you had the money, you were ready to do it. So it's great that you did that now. But
it hasn't been straining. Like, it's not something that I've, you know, like this big loan in the corner, but it hasn't been straining at all. Like, it hasn't impacted my personal life. Like, you know, some people get a mortgage or they get these investments or whatever, and sometimes it can impact their actual personal life because they might have to take a little bit out of their pocket, or whatever it is to finance it as well. But to be fair, like, it hasn't really dented my lifestyle too much. Like, I'm still able to have that and focus on what else I can do now. So, and I think the important thing Jack said was, it's not just about buying another property, it's about actually looking at where you want to grow. And for me, look, I think with all the things I want to do, it requires me to not have so much over my head, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know, a second property and mortgage might just, it might tip me over.
Yeah, I think it's definitely doable. Like, you asked me what the bare minimum deposit you would need. What is that? I mean, you can go up to 95% LVR for investment in a very rare case, but you can do it. And you were surprised to know that it would cost you double what you had put in initially.
Yeah.
But see, so the game has changed, and that to save that is a lot harder than it is just to rely on the equity. So if you just take the time, you've got a good property that you can hold forever, and that's going to be one of the base properties that you have to get you your next couple. But it just does take time. It's not going to happen overnight.
No, it's probably better if I do use this time to focus on other passions and hobbies. Like, I think I said that in your podcast as well, owners, you know?
Yeah, you did mention that.